Hello everyone, we are on the garage deck today to plant up what I think is going to be the last container on the garage deck. And then I can finally do like a full grand tour of the garage deck, which I'm very excited about. But this container is not going to be for me. It's going to be for my husband. I'm going to create him a container kitchen garden. He is the cook in our house. It wasn't like that at the beginning of our relationship. I don't know how it came to be, but I am very, very happy that that's how things have turned out. So I took him to the garden center and he picked out some herbs that he wants to grow. I'm also going to add in 2 smaller tomato plants as well. And then we'll kind of see if I want to add anything else in there. But first, I'll go through the herbs that we got. I'll show you what I'm going to plant in, and then we'll get everything planted. While we were at the garden center, which we went to Chicago's Farmers Market Garden, Chicago Gardeners Farmers Market, all those words are in there. I will link down below where we went. They have cats there. 5. I recommend going. But one thing I learned about my husband is he has this thing called self-control, where he can go into a garden center and only get what he needs. And I kept asking him, are you sure that's all? Are you sure that's all? And yes, so he knows what he wants. So there's not a ton that I'm going to plant, which is okay because the container, it's a good size, but it's not huge. So here are the things that he picked out. We have oregano. This is Greek oregano. We got 2 of these. Now these can spread. They are part of the mint family, but they don't spread as aggressively as mint. So I'm going to plant these in the same container. I'm thinking I'll be able to control the spread of this since there's only going to be 2. And again, there's not going to be a ton of plants in there. So I'm going to plant these all in the same container, but just keep that in mind. If you do, well, if you're growing mint, keep that in a separate pot. And if you're growing oregano, you might want to separate it, or you're going to have to at least keep on top of its spread. Next up, we got 2 of the flat leaf Italian parsley. He was only going to get 1, but I said definitely get 2 because the caterpillars love this. So I'm assuming we'll find some swallowtail eggs on this. They're probably going to take both of them. I don't know. Hopefully he can still use these to cook, and I'm not going to make him keep all of the eggs on there. We'll see if he gets to use this or not. But no, we have 2 of these. So 2 oregano, 2 parsley, and then we have cat grass for our cats. We're going to put it in this container initially. I don't know if I'm going to like cut some leaves and give them to the cat. I don't want to give the cat the whole plant because I feel like they'll eat it all. So I might let it get a little bit bigger and then cut off a piece of it and bring it inside. This is obviously not for us, but for our cats. And he also wanted basil, but we weren't able to find that. So we were going to try to go to Home Depot. Home Depot usually has the most plants, even though they're not necessarily always the best quality compared to the local garden centers. But I think if we are going to have a chance of finding basil, which we tried 2 different garden centers, I think Home Depot will probably be our best bet. So I am going to add that, probably 2 plants to the planter as well. So I need to remember to leave space for them. Now that's all he picked. And again, that's why I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to try this random herb that we've never used? Well, what about this random flower? I don't know how he does it. But again, he has that thing called self-control. So those are the herbs that he chose. I am also going to plant 2, well, let me show you the one that has the fruit on it that's turning colors. So I'm going to plant these 2 tiny tomato plants. These are not the Tiny Tim tomato plants. These are from Burpee, and they are called Sugar Basket. It's a small fruited tomato. I can't remember how tall these get off the top of my head, but I think they're roughly the same size as the Tiny Tim. So I'm going to add these as well. I don't think we're going to be able to harvest enough. For example, if he wants to make a sauce, I don't think we're going to be harvesting enough from these 2 plants, but I want to add them in there. And tomatoes are one of my favorite things to grow and just pop off a tomato while we're in the garden and eat it. So I'm going to add these. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants, and I need to save space for 2 basils. So now I'll go show you the container that I got him. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. I am at that point of summer where I have to have a sweatband on, or else the sweat's just dripping in my eyes as I garden. So I highly recommend a sweatband underneath your hat or visor. This right here is the container I got. I was looking for something that was black, metal, fit in with the other containers on the garage deck. And the reason I'm putting this here for him is this is the level that connects to our kitchen. So it's much easier to run out here and grab some herbs than to run up to the rooftop decks. I was also looking for something with wheels. So this has 2 wheels on it. And I think it's maybe about 10 inches deep, maybe 10 or 11 inches deep. Now I've obviously not used this yet, so I can't talk about durability or usability yet. However, I was able to put it together on my own, and it was fairly stress-free, so that was good. However, I did have someone who, I think it wasn't the exact same container, but something very similar, and they said it was almost impossible to move once it was full of soil. I do wish it had 4 wheels on it instead of 2. And the other thing they said was that the handle broke off and the handle was weak. Now, the handle that I have on that side, it is bolted in, so we'll see. I think I'm going to try to move it maybe a little bit once I get things planted up and just get an idea for how durable this actually is. So I will keep you updated. Again, I will link this below, but just know I haven't tried it yet, and the one review that I've gotten is but it did work to grow things. So there you go. Before I plant, I just wanted to give you a quick update on this border. It's looking really great right now. However, I have learned that I need to water it first thing in the morning. The orchid blush sun patience, the purple flowers there, they do say full sun, part sun to full sun, and they really only get a couple hours of the morning sun, but it's so intense right now that a lot of them were burning up. So I have been watering these a lot more often than I thought I was going to have to, and that does happen a lot in urban areas, especially on higher decks, that something might be able to handle full sun if it was at ground level, but with the intense heat that we get up here, it might need a little bit of extra protection or a little bit more shade. First, I need to finish filling this container up. Right now, there's a mix of potting soil and compost, and I'm just topping with more potting soil. I do want to try and see if I can move it at this point. Now I know the soil is light and fluffy and there's no plants and it hasn't been watered, so that will definitely make it heavier, but I want to see how this feels. All right, in terms of movability, I can do it on my own. The handle feels secure, but again, I just put this together. So let's go ahead. Oh, I need to add granular fertilizer and then we'll get the plants in here. This bag has been sitting in the hot sun, which I feel is not the best place to have your fertilizers sitting, so I need to move this back inside after I'm done, but I'm just adding in Plant Tone, which is an all-purpose granular fertilizer, and mixing that in. I'm going to set these in place and get an idea of where I like them. Now, a lot of herbs say things like space 2 feet apart, and this is another time, which is almost all the time, where I'm going to ignore the spacing rules. Also, my husband doesn't care about looks of things, so he doesn't care if like the oregano is in a nice spot compared to the tomatoes or anything like that, but I'm going to try to make it look, you know, a little bit pretty. I kind of want to do the oregano on the side and then it can trail over the edge, which again, my husband will not care about. So I like that. Parsley, 2 tomatoes, and then I can put basil here and here. I actually think I like that. That might be the fastest I've ever made a planting decision. I'm going to start with the corners. Again, I'll let you know if I regret putting the oregano in here with the other plants, but again, I think because it's not like there's a lot of plants in here, I'm not planting it directly into the ground, that I can control it and feel okay about the growth, but we shall see. I'm going to put this in here for now, but I might make him some pretty labels for these. Again, not that he will care, but I just want to make it look extra pretty. And then I'm going to do you, the small fruited tomato sugar basket from Burpee, one in that corner there, one in this corner. Again, I like doing the corners just to start my spacing off, to see where I want to put things in the middle. The other tomato right here. Also, because these have been getting burnt, I'm not concerned with the plants growing taller than them. I think they actually might like it a little bit. I just didn't expect, I know the sun is intense on the rooftop decks. I just wasn't expecting it to be as intense down here. Other oregano in the corner. Cat grass. Oh, I didn't realize it said Chef Jeff. That's really cute. I don't know if Jeff is the cat's name, but I'm gonna pretend that it is. That's really cute. This one's very root bound. Just break that up a little bit. There we go. And then this one's gonna go where I roughly estimate the center is. Center and center. Let's do the parsley. This I'm gonna do in the front, a little bit over to the center. And there we go. Now let's put in the tags. Now my husband can tell these apart, but we are going to have our garden walk soon. And just in case I have any other friends over that want to know what these things are, I like having the labels. I'm going to put the little cat label right here. Chef Jeff. There we go. All right, so we have everything planted. These 2 spots are going to be for basil that we can hopefully find. And this is my husband's kitchen container garden. I'm really excited. I'm letting the very hot water run out first. The metal handle is also very hot on this hose. Now let's water everything in. There are drainage holes in the bottom piece that is sitting in here, so I'm just going to water until it starts to drip out. I do have things under this right now. They are just galvanized metal pots that I'm using for storage because I want those again to look pretty instead of just putting the bags here. So I don't mind if those get dripped on, but I do want to be conscious of what I am going to put down there. Oh, and we have drippage out of the bottom, so we're good. Oh, now let me see if I can roll this while it's wet. You know what, actually, still not bad. A little heavier, but I can move it, and I forgot that I do have the galvanized bucket, which has some granular fertilizer in it down there. So pretty good. So far, everything seems stable and secure, so I'm really excited about this. Gonna get him some basil, and he's gonna have his own kitchen garden. I love how this turned out. I do think I might make him a little garden sign that like says Andrew's Garden and hang it on here. Again, nothing that he cares about, but things that I think are cute. And I do think I'll add in some cute labels as well. I'm so excited for him to have his own space because when I was growing, well, I do grow herbs upstairs, but right now the herbs that are upstairs are the ones that I use for my tea. So my mints, lemon balm, actually don't know what else is up there right now. So that is all going to stay up there. And then this is all the stuff that goes to the kitchen because he would ask me, hey, can I run upstairs and grab whatever it might be? And I think this is just going to be a lot easier. I'm also going to teach him how to care for the plants. I'm going to teach him how to water all these, how to harvest them appropriately, how much to harvest at a time. And then maybe I can give him some more garden tasks to do in the future. The rooftop deck so far is still not set up on irrigation. I do have a good amount of self-watering containers, but I at least want to get like the back border and the larger containers, like this one here, set up on irrigation. But maybe I'll have him hand water everything that needs to be hand watered up here. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm excited for him to see this later today. Still need to add the basil. I think that might be everything. Now, again, I think this is the last container. I do plan to get a compost tumbler, which is going to sit right where I am. And then I think I also want to get like some weatherproof garbage can, just so when we have people over, you don't have to keep running back inside to go to the garbage. So I think this is almost completely done. I can't believe it. Again, I've been thinking about this deck since 2023, and it's turned out pretty close to what I had envisioned. So let me know if you have any questions. I think the next video might be showing you around the whole garage deck, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.